Protein Hulk.
Hey everybody, welcome to coverage of Pro Tour Return to Ravnica here from Seattle in the booth. My name is Marshall Sutcliffe. I am joined by Brian David Marshall, and we are seeing a feature match between Gabriel Nassif and Yuuya Watanabe here in the draft portion, round 9.
Watanabe let off with a Golgari Knot farm.
Wow, and he just hits right away a Karazda Guild Mage, and Nassif's going to pick it up to read it. Yeah, that's a pretty strong turn 2 play. Now, the Guild Mage probably isn't going to do anything for a little while.
But I mean, you can attack with it for 3 on turn 3, right? You know,
if you want to put your mana into it, sure.
Yeah.
I think that its second ability is highly underrated as well. Sacrifice a creature.
4 mana.
Yeah.
Sacrifice a creature. Get that number. Get 1/1s equal to its
toughness.
Yeah, but he's like, I am not letting you untap.
Yeah. So is it Charm? Strikes down, and Stonefair Crocodile follows up, and we also see a mountain from Watanabe. So there's probably a splash of some sort. We've seen a Golgari Guild Mage though, so that usually indicates that he's in Golgari.
So Rich and Zach were talking while we were waiting for this round to start, and they talked about is it being a difficult deck to draft.
Yeah.
But it's certainly we've seen people who are pretty, interesting deck builders in general seem to gravitate towards is it.
Yeah.
And no shock here that that's what Nassif is playing. Yeah. We see him get a Lobber Crew or the Lobster Crew, as Bill Stark likes to keep saying.
Yep. And the Crocodile's going to ship in, and, Nassif says, I'm playing this card, so I can't block, so I'm going to block it. Ooh, is that a Dead Bridge Goliath right
yes,
there?
Yes, it is.
That's a 5/5
for 4, yep.
For 4, excuse me. Wow. So that thing...
Just a Kavu Titan.
It's just huge. It's also got Scavenge for 6, which can come into play later. I see a Golgari Decoy in Watanabe's hand along with
I like
the
that card
Scorpion.
a lot.
Yeah, I like it too. That was our preview card. I got to preview that card to the world. It's got a lot going on. All right, so let's see. I see a Tenement Crasher for Nassif along with a Goblin Electromancer, a Splatter Thug, an Inspiration, a Nivix Guild Mage. One other card I couldn't quite see. And it looks like he's just going to play the Goblin Electromancer. He doesn't have
uses the Lobber Crew, plays a multicolored spell, untaps it. So he gets to use it twice.
Get that incremental advantage in. Although he's facing down some beef. So right now, it seems inevitable that the Goliath is going to come in, but does the Crocodile come in as well? That's the question.
Send it.
So he'd be offering a trade for the Goblin Electromancer, or just gets blocked anyway, maybe. He says no.
Well,
take
that's
5.
That's the correct answer then.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, so we see Watanabe. He's got the Golgari Decoy pulled to the front. He's also got, I believe, a Grizzly Salvage, a land. I don't know, I guess not a land.
And he's got a late-game Dagger Drome Imp. Which, and the reason I say it's late game is, you see all these scavenge cards.
Yes.
You could be behind in the game. Yep. Late game, you play an imp, you scavenge something onto it, and you suddenly have a Baneslayer Angel.
Did you say something? Like, look at that.
Yeah.
That Goliath puts 5 +1/+1 counters on the imp.
Yep.
Doesn't take long.
Yeah, make your own Baneslayer Angel.
So right now the Golgari Decoy is putting Nassif in kind of a tough situation. Oh, so he's also got an Is It Staticaster. No, that's actually Nivix Guild Mage, excuse me.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was Staticaster.
I believe it's actually a Batterhorn and a... yeah, it is. So it's a Batterhorn.
A Tenement Crasher.
Yes.
We're going to get the deck list so we can be sure.
Also an Inspiration. And I think the Inspiration is what's going to be played here. Although this is an interesting... so Watanabe is going to be able to attack with everything pretty freely here. He would trade the Electromancer for his Golgari Decoy ostensibly, and 8 damage would come in, which is over half of Gabriel Nassif's remaining life total. If there's a pump spell, which there is not for Watanabe, then that can also change things. But he's contemplating how these turns are going to go. When your opponent passes a turn with 4 mana up, you have to think a lot about what he could have.
Sure.
But he says attacks, and he's just going to send them all into the red zone. Quick double check of Golgari Decoy by Nassif, and he says, well, I'm
thinking about using the Lobber Crew first so it doesn't have to block, and you
to
don't
open
risk
it up.
Yeah, you just don't risk it. It's not going to offer any extra, extra value in combat. So why just put it at risk?
Right, and it is gonna. It's worth having it on the board because it's still gonna hold off the Stone Fair Crocodile after. So, all right. So Susui Scorpion. He says, does this resolve? Essence Backlash being one of the possibilities for what Nassif has in his hand. And he says, end step, inspiration, target myself, draw 2, and then draw a card for the turn. He's drawn another inspiration.
Yeah, he has 2 of them in his deck.
And he's got a Stealer of Secrets. Also drew an island. So he plays the island, and now he's got to decide how he wants to craft the rest of this turn. He says, how many cards you got? Just 3.
Kind of a situation. I don't even know if he has a paralyzing grasp, but that's kind of like his out to the Goliath.
Yeah, that would actually be really, really good.
16.
All right, it says ping you. Looks like he's going to play the Guild Mage, and he does. Untap the Lobber Crew, and he's going to play a Splatter Thug. And he says, no, we're not going to unleash this guy. He is fully chained up.
Sets him out on the lawn with a stake.
Exactly. But, you know, he doesn't really have blocks here, though, for the Goliath still. So you would assume that the Goliath will come in. The question is, does Nassif block it at all? He should probably assume that Watanabe does not have a combat trick, as he probably would have used it with the decoy to keep that going. But, doesn't mean he couldn't have drawn one. So be holding on to it. Grizzly Salvage. That is a BDM card if I've ever seen one. Trestle Troll. Golgari Longlegs. Wow, he just hits 5 spells off of it. I mean, not that it's super relevant, but there's also...
Well, I think he wanted a land.
He did. Yeah, you're right, actually. So it is relevant. So yeah, Trestle Troll, Scorpion.
He does have a gate creeper vine.
Yeah. So he can get a land if he needs to.
I'm gonna take that Thrill Kill Assassin. No.
I mean, you'd think that he'd want to have the cards like the Scorpions in the graveyard because those things have scavenge. You can get those back. Trestle Troll. You know, he does seem to be on the beatdown plan here.
Yeah.
So if he takes the Golgari Longlegs, he can take it and then play the Gate Creeper Vine, get the land, and then he can play it next turn. If he takes the Thrill Kill Assassin, he can play it this turn.
Yeah.
And unleash it. This is a tough decision here because he's going to miss his land drop if he takes the Thrill Kill Assassin and plays it.
He just wants to keep pressing. I mean, he's so close. Like, Nassif's gonna, chump block this turn on the Goliath.
Thanks.
Although I guess
he might not.
Yeah.
Although that red mana floating around is kind of scary as well.
Thank you.
He's only going to attack with.
Yeah. So the Goliath comes crashing in for 5. This would reduce Gabriel Nassif's life total to 2. Pretty precarious spot. Double checks it doesn't have trample.
We're going to see if we can get their graveyard a little.
Yeah,
it's kind of relevant to the board here.
It is, especially considering the fact that there's going to be a whole lot of scavenging happening potentially. All right, so Navy's Guild Mage jumps in front of the Goliath, and yeah, you mentioned, it looks like Yuuya just wants to stay aggressive, and he's going to play the Thrill Kill Assassin Unleashed post-combat. Well, there's a Street Spasm. If he can hit 1 more mana, he can kill. He can kill two of the 3 because the Thrill Kill's a 2/3. So, all right. So we see Yuuya start to arrange some potential scavenges here. He's got him on top with a Susui Scorpion and the Golgari Decoy. Scorpion being much cheaper to scavenge than the other. Now,
what's the Susui cost to scavenge?
1 GB.
Yeah.
Go. It's just 3.
It's cheaper than it is to cast.
Yeah. And the decoy costs 5. another crocodile is drawn here, which is definitely not a land. So I think he's going to just go. Yeah, he's going to play the Gatecreeper Vine to go find that land, and then I think we're going to see a flashback. I said that twice. A scavenge, which is kind of like a creature flashback. A scavenge of the Susui Scorpion. He's going to have to decide where he wants to put the counters.
Trying to see what the red is for in Yuuya's deck. Oh, I see what it's for.
Oh, I see. That's a good one. Would splash for that. Yes, I would. All right, so he's going to put both counters on the other Susui Scorpion. And I think that we could potentially see a Street Spasm here take out that Scorpion. He says, no, it's fine, because Street Spasm still does it at post-combat, or anytime he wants anyway. All right, so Yuuya is trying to decide if he does actually attack with this Crocodile or not. And he says, no, just attack with these guys. I mean, I think the reasoning is just because Nassif is sitting there with 100 open mana
and a first striking splatter thud.
Yeah, and I mean the thing is, if Nassif is tapped out, then he can just swing with everything.
Sounds like Stanislav Sivka has gone up 1-0 over Collywoods. I got to assume that Stanislav Sivka ended up with that third pick Jared in pack 3.
Yeah.
So he's probably got an insane Golgari deck.
He probably does.
I'm told very emphatically that I am correct from our floor reporter Rashad Miller. He's like, "You are correct.
You are correct."
Did you get a sense of like envy, like Rashad was coveting Sivka's deck?
Well, based on Rashad's choice of clothing this weekend, I'm not surprised by that.
Yeah.
So, game 1 goes to Yuuya Watanabe. He just had more power. I mean, it was just.
Yeah.
You know, the Goliath was huge in this game.
Scavenge, exile creature, is that part of the cost? If I remember the
Yeah, we're just gonna stay on this match, I think, and well, if there's some stuff still going on.
Yeah.
If I remember the grid right update before he would activate Scavenge. In order to stop it. Thank you.
Judge talk going on in the background.
I think it was a question from Conley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, my opponent's got this really good Golgari deck. Is that fair?
If he scavenges stuff and makes it bigger, how do I cope with that, Judge?
Do I have any good blocks?
Yeah. Yeah.
If I've unleashed a guy, can I take it back?
Yeah.
Can I leash him?
I like that question. All right, so there's some potential sideboarding happening here from Nassif. This matchup does not look great.
So, yeah, looking at Nassif's deck, you know, I'm seeing he does have a couple of trump cards here.
Oh wow! I didn't realize he had one of those. Wow, Nassif's deck is pretty.
So he's got a couple of board sweepers here. He's got a Cyclonic Rift.
Yeah.
He's got a Street Spasm.
Uh-huh.
So both their cards that can.
Actually, when I
quick
saw
ones up.
what the
Kind of interesting. He's got 3 Lobber Crews, but he's only playing 1. Does that seem about right to you? Unusual to you?
So when I play Lobber Crews, I usually go full Lobber Crew.
Right.
You know, we're playing as many of these things as I can get, and my whole deck is trying to enable myself to live long enough to Lobber Crew them out.
But that doesn't really look like. If
I
you look
don't think that's his deck.
Yeah, I think that Lobber Crew is largely defensive because if you look at the deck list, the bulk of Gabriel Nassif's cards are registered in the blue column and the red column.
Okay.
So, you know, he's got one.
As opposed to the multicolored color.
Yeah, he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's got 6 multicolored cards.
Okay. Oh,
So-
he's also got another game finisher here from the uncommon slot.
Yeah, he's got a teleportal.
Yeah,
that could,
teleportal.
break the game open.
That absolutely can break the game open. Now in this matchup, you know, his challenge is to be alive
Yeah.
when that card is relevant, because
And to
it
have
looks
a-
like he's
and to have
gonna
a
be
board
under a lot of
presence.
pressure. That's what I mean. Like,
Yeah, it's not just to be alive, right?
Yeah.
You could be clinging to life, but you've had to chump block a
well, that's what
Goliath
I mean.
for 2
When that
turns.
card's relevant.
Yeah, oh, yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
because if he plays a Stonefair Crocodile and you have your Gauntlet Electromancer, you're probably trading.
Right.
It's not going to leave you with a big board to get in for the. Does he have Stealers of Secrets?
He does have a Stealer Secrets.
All right. So, sometimes if you get in a pinch, you just use your teleportal not overloaded and just get in with a Stealer for 3 and draw a card.
I mean, same thing with Cyclonic Rift, right?
Yeah.
I guess I'll scavenge my Goliath.
Yeah.
Let's pick that up.
No, sir.
Tap you out.
And they're
remove
tapped
a
out.
guy.
Yeah, as they say, time walk you, which is not
And same thing with Street
accurate,
Spasm. And,
Yep.
that's...
That's why, I think when I build the Golgari deck, I try to do it a little bit less emphasis on scavenge.
Right.
Because I don't want to be the guy that gets my creature bounced. I don't want to be the guy that gets my guy street spasmed when I go to scavenge. I want to be the guy doing that.
Right.
So.
Man, this is such a well-trophied feature match area. One of the back tables, we have former Player of the Year, Yuuya Samara. First Japanese player ever to win Player of the Year. Playing against Magic Online champion, Reed Duke.
Yep.
And they are going to game 3. So those guys
They're all
game
tied up
apiece.
at 101.
We have Conley Woods versus Stanislav Sivka as sort of almost like the undercard bout here. 2 powerhouse players, but they just don't have the World Championship, Hall of Fame, trophies. It's crazy. This is such a.
And we have 3 Hall of Famers in the area, I believe.
Nassif, Kenji, and Paulo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
3 out of 8. That's a pretty good percentage. There's not that many Hall of Famers around.
And I think Nassif is staring across the table at a future Hall of Famer.
I think so too. All right, so we are examining our opening hand here. Nassif is thinking, and he is going to go back for 6. And Yuuya says, "Yeah, I'll keep." Interestingly, Yuuya is sporting his Is It sleeves. I know where he got those. Players Championship. Get a look at Yuya's hand. Well, I see a lot of lands and a Dreadbore.
Yeah, I see a splashed mountain and a splashed Dreadbore.
Yeah, that's nice. That's always nice because usually you get one or the other, right?
Yeah. You're like, yes. I don't know if I see swamps.
Okay. I saw forest for sure.
I definitely saw forest.
So what do you think the game plan is for Nassif here? How does he actually win? If all Yuuya does is just play 3 and 4 power guys, does he just win this game? Is that all it takes to beat? Is it?
I feel like, you just got to stumble a little bit, honestly. I feel like if his, and he may with the hand he has here.
Oh, he does have a swamp, by the way.
Then never mind.
Okay. Yeah, it feels like Nassif is going to have to, he's going to have to get a board state such that Cyclonic Rift or something is
Nassif's
really
guys
awesome.
just can't go toe to toe.
Yep.
So he really needs a Street Spasm to be kind of a big game for him.
Okay. Get a 2-for-1 or a 3-for-1 out of it.
Yeah.
All right, that is a keep. Yep. And he says, "I'm go." Grizzly salvage off the top for Yuuya is going to be an important one. And he says, "Dagger drone up, go." Pay 3, Splatter Thug, unleash it. So he's looking to start getting some momentum here.
He needs to teleportal here, get a couple more guys on the table, draw some cards.
Mind Rot you. All right, now this can hurt pretty bad considering that Nassif already mulliganed. I only mulliganed once, but still, the
I think he gets rid
pile
of Tenement Crasher and Goblin Electromancer. Keeps land inspiration so he can inspiration next turn.
And just dig his way back out of the Mind Rot. Yeah. You don't want to throw away 2 for sure creatures, but
yeah.
Now
you can't throw away. Can you throw away Mountain
You can't because
Inspiration?
no, I think you keep the inspiration, but remember the Electromancer will also make inspiration cheaper.
Right, I was
so
going to say, you can also keep Electromancer. Keeping Electromancer inspiration is like getting 2 creatures.
Yep. Even if he doesn't draw a land, he'll still be able to inspiration next turn, assuming it's still alive. Okay, he does. He goes with your original plan of binning both creatures.
Because he's got to take a whole turn off.
Yeah. All right, now a little
18.
little greed check here. Do you want to run the gutter snipe out there first? Probably get value, right?
There,
Still keep developing your board. He's thinking about it. I mean, if you have a play this turn, the inspiration.
I would just rather develop my board, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
You make sure to leave blue mana up. That represents Dispel.
Represents Dispel, represents Mizium Mortars.
Yes. No, Mizium Skin.
I'm sorry, Mizium Skin.
Yes.
Yeah.
Grizzly Salvage.
Ooh.
Wow, he just hit a few of his really good cards.
Oh.
Edbridge Goliath, did you hear him? Oh, geez.
So we know he's got a 4th land at least, and a 5th land in hand, I believe.
I think he has 4, 5, and 6. Yeah, I think he's got like 3 lands in hand. So the question is, does he want a 5/5 for 4 mana? Or, you know, the Guild Mage is a big deal, too.
Yeah.
Because remember, if he pitches the Goliath, he can just scavenge it.
So back at Worlds in 2006, Paulo Vitor Damarosa and Makito Mahara were both in the top 8 of that event. They're playing right now on the back table, and Paulo Vitor Damarosa has taken the match 2 games to 0.
Oh, wow.
Pretty fast.
Emphatically.
What did we pick? Oh, we took the Guild Mage.
He did take the Guild Mage. You know, it's hard to turn that down. He can play it this turn.
Yep.
He can get it going, and he's going to be able to scavenge the Goliath later, so it does something from his yard.
Onto his imp.
Yeah, potentially.
Nassif checking to see if that's changed since game 1.
Gets better to double check. All right, I think he's drawn a Batterhorn here, so a likely inspiration, probably just main phase it.
14.
Right? I mean, you can hit a land drop that way.
Paulo Vitor wins 2-0, is that correct?
Yeah, so he does just main phase inspiration.
Go.
And he does not hit his land drop.
Doesn't hit the land.
Batterhorn's a 4/3 for 4 and a red. So he does have another chance to draw a land on his turn and be able to resolve the Batterhorn, which can start to help the plan that we've been talking about, you know, the Cyclonic Rift type thing or the teleportal plan.
Did Nassif activate the... Oh, puts a Sewer Shambler on the Dagger Drum Imp.
Oh, that's going to change this race
55.
dramatically.
Yeah.
The Gutter Snipe, did it hit?
I guess it did, because it looks like
2, 3, 5. Yeah, I'm not sure. Right, confirmed. That was a really smooth move. Did you see that?
No, what happened?
He dropped his Dreadbore on the table on accident, and then played a mountain and tapped both and said, "Yeah, I'm playing it anyway." That's pretty good. He had his plan. Right, so Gutter Snipe down.
Now, and so we got actually all of our matches have wrapped up pretty quickly, except for this one, which is in game 2. Conley Woods falls 2 games to 0 at the hands of Stanislav Sivka and Gerard.
Yes.
And in the Reed Duke Kenji Samora match, online player champion defeats offline player champion. Reed Duke defeats Kenji Samora 2 games to 1.
And we heard just a minute ago that PV 2-0'd Makihiro.
Street Spasm will do nothing about that imp.
It will not. Cannot hit flyers.
Oh, I do see a Void Wielder, it looks like, though, but we
Void
need that
Wielder
5th land.
will help out if he can get to the mana.
Although once...
He's also got a cancel that's dead in his hand.
Go.
And he just says go with no play. So Yuuya is still hitting all of his land drops now. He's going to hit his 6th here, and that is Goliath time if he wants it. The question is where. Yeah, so he's just not even going to bother. He's got other plays.
He can make if there's a Void Wielder or something, he can sacrifice the imp and get 3 1/1s.
Yep. He just doesn't need to spend his mana.
I mean, he can also just make that a 5/5 just using the Guildmage's ability. Right?
Yeah, you're
really
right.
wants.
He can. Yeah.
So inspiration for Nassif.
Go.
Yeah, Nassif also knows if he taps out on his turn, like, you know, there's that temptation to inspiration for the land.
Yeah.
But then he just knows he's dead.
He just knows he's absolutely dead. Where Yuuya's going to play it safe here. No reason to take on a huge amount of risk. And he's just going to say go. Because, you know, he's just, at this point in the board, he just doesn't need to do anything else. He'll win this game as the board sits if nothing changes. All right, Nassif has drawn lands. He's got a 2nd island and also a couple of mountains. So the inspiration's got him there, so it's got to be Void Wielder here, right? Or no. Yeah. That's not going to do it. Void Wielder.
Yeah, he has to, though, doesn't he?
Well, he's just dead if he does. He bounces the imp, but then the Guildmage gives itself Intimidate and +1/+1 and just kills him.
Oh, he's at 3. Yeah, he's dead no matter what.
I think he's just dead. I mean, at least as far as the Void Wielder is concerned, yeah. I don't know that there's still the Street Spasm, but he's dead to the imp. Yeah, I think he's just dead here.
Damned if he does, damned if he doesn't.
I think so. The interesting restrictions on some of the removal, like Street Spasm, you know, biting.
Street Spasm not hitting flying creatures is.
Okay. Tap 5.
He's like, you've won Player of the Year twice. You're not going to fall for this.
Concede. Yeah, he just said, no, you got me.
2-time Player of the Year, Yuuya Watanabe takes it over former Player of the Year, Gabriel Nassif.
Pretty convincing. I mean, you know, we've been talking, you and I, about the Is It deck all weekend.
Yeah.
And how difficult it can be to draft. And, you know, I got to say, hey, welcome back to the booth. I'm Marshall Sutcliffe. That's Brian David Marshall. You know, even Gabriel Nassif,
the cards,
tough deck
the cards
to build.
Is It feel a little dirtily sometimes.
Yeah.
To use a popular limited term.
They do.
Just,
you're not doing a whole lot for quite a while. And
you know, Lobber Crew doesn't do anything to change the state of the board.
Right. So, yeah, anyway, I thought that was a pretty good one, and we got a chance to see a little bit of Is It there, but
and I
really
thought a great look at Golgari from Watanabe. I mean, that's exactly what you want to do. That's kind of really how you want to play it.
Yeah, and he kind of flexed the muscle there, too, at the end, just saying, no, not going to do anything.
Yeah,
just going to keep doing this. Yeah. All right, well, why don't we send it back down to the news desk before we come back to us for more draft rounds. But for now,
yay,
the news desk.